Everybody say cheese. Hi, I'm Wells. I'm currently a 14 medical student of UI, and in this video I'm going to show you what a typical week looks like in the life of a 14 medical student studying in Nigeria. If you perhaps want a summarized version of this video, this is the summary. Our life is just like people who are having full-time jobs but are not getting paid for it. But if you want the full details, here it is. Almost every day looks the same and also different at the same time. The most difficult part of my day is getting out of bed. When I finally get up, I say a prayer and read the next verse of my Bible, get dressed, and on most days try to get something to eat before leaving the house. And then the almost constant part of my day, which is me rushing to get to class on time, because it seems like I never get out of bed early enough, or there's always something I do in the morning that takes up all my time, and I eventually get to rush to get to class early. We usually have a class 8 a.m. almost every morning, and it lasts for about 1 hour, 30 minutes at most. And what activities we do next depends on what day of the week it is and what unit we are currently in. For example, I'm currently rotating through endocrinology unit. Monday we have diabetics clinic, Tuesday we have ward rounds, Wednesday ward round, Thursday ward rounds again, and Friday clinic. But not 2 days is ever exactly the same. Some days are super great, your patient are so cooperative, your consultant and SR asks you questions and you get everything right. And you even get to do everything you want to do on those days. But there are some other days where your patients are so not cooperative with you, they won't let you take good history and examine them. You will not be able to present your patient properly to your consultant, you get asked questions and you miss all of them, you get insulted right in front of everybody, even your patient. And there are some days where you will see a patient that was brought in very sick, gets well and get discharged to go home. These days are very happy days. And there are some other days that are quite sad where you see people. The one that pains me the most is seeing young people about my age or younger or slightly older than me die of sudden death. It's just quite painful, and we get to see all of these things, we get to experience all of these different emotions on different days, which is why med school is not that easy but is very interesting. I don't think you can ever get bored for me, I've never gotten bored of medical school. I get tired, I get worn out, but I never get bored because there is no 2 days that is ever exactly the same. After our morning activities, which usually is very variable, some days we finish as early as 12 p.m. and some days we could stay till 1 or 2 p.m. Then we get a lunch break, where I usually try to get a lunch, rest or read for my presentation after lunch, because most afternoons we are given a tutorials, and in each tutorial one of the medical students will be assigned a topic to present. So on days I have to present a topic, during my lunch break I try to, if I've not read the topic yet, I try to cover something up. And sometimes if I get nominated to present a topic impromptu, so on those days I have to actually spend the lunch break to prepare for my presentations. Then we have an afternoon class, which is usually from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. After our afternoon class, depending on the days, we may have an evening tutorial or not. But when we have an evening tutorial, the length of the tutorial is always very variable too. We could spend 1 hour, we could spend 2 or 3 hours, depends on whichever registrar or senior registrar is going to be staying with us. And after the evening tutorial, this time is usually around 6 to 7. By this time I usually have 3 options of things I could do. I could go home, I could go to emergency department for emergency department call, or I could stay on the ward to do my normal ward call. We are meant to do at least 1 ward call each week. We are meant to do at least 2 emergency calls each week. Sometimes I do more than 2 emergency calls, because emergency call is actually where I get to learn, get hands on is where I get to do as many procedures as possible. This is my posting booklet, and you can see these are all the things we are required to do in each posting. You can see there's set IV line, peripheral venous sample. It is at emergency I learned to do many of these procedures, and I also get to work with some cool emergency department doctors. I actually learn and practice the things I've read before or things I've seen on the wall. Now I can say I'm confident to do some things that I would not be able to do probably like 3 months before. We are getting closer to actually becoming doctors. After my emergency department call, which I usually finish around 8 or 9 p.m, I get back to my house. By this time I'm already tired, because during the ward round in the morning, on the days we have ward rounds, we'll walk from one ward to the other. We can stand for hours on a patient, discussing the patient, learning by the bedside. This process is usually quite stressful, and in the evening, if I go to emergency department, I'll probably be standing most of the time. Trying to set line, trying to do something or talk to patient or clerk or examine patients. So by the time I get home, I'm already tired. But that's not just where the day ends. The day still continues, because by then I still need to read. We have a list of topics. Someone counted the numbers of topics we are meant to study for this posting, which is lasting 8 weeks, and I think he said there are 130 topics to be read within a period of 8 weeks. And you can see the days already busy from 8 a.m. in the morning till like 8 p.m. at night or 9 p.m, but you still have to find time to read. So depending on the day, depending on how stressful the day was, the constant thing I try to do when I get home is to try to get something to eat. And after my dinner, how much strength I have left determines what I'm going to do next. So when I have strength, I could just spend the time to study or do other tasks I need to do outside medical school, like maybe respond to comment on this YouTube channel, or do things that are related to my online tutorial, or read. I do one of those 3 things. And when I'm tired, I sleep. Once I sleep around 10 p.m, I usually get to wake up around 1-2 a.m. in the morning. Then I will do whatever I need to do between 2 to 3 hours. If I need to study, I study within 2 to 3 hours. If I need to do anything, any task that is non-medical related task, I also do that within that time, and I go back to bed around 5 a.m. and my alarm rings around past 6, and I struggle to get out of bed again. Snooze the alarm, and the cycle continues. That's just a summary of how the days of the week go for me. You see that it really seems like we have a full-time job and not getting paid for it. In between all of this, you need to keep studying, you need to be sane, you need to be healthy, you need to eat well and stuff. So I don't know what impression this video is going to give you, but I really think medical school is not super easy. It's one of the most demanding course to study in an institution. Not because medicine is the hardest, but because it is, I think, the most demanding in terms of the hours that is required to be put in. Yeah, that's what I believe. If you're a medical student, kudos to you too. Non-medical student watching this, I respect you as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.